In a far away and distant land, adventurers seek one another to combat the dangers lurking in the corners of Norrath. We have brought this world to you again, for those seeking to live the journey anew. A chance to relive past glories, to meet new friends, to look back on past memories, and capture missed opportunities, or do battle with past adversaries.
We present
Legacy of Norrath, a classic EverQuest experience with quality of life improvements, including functional maps and increased out-of-combat regeneration, and Ixas. You're in our world now.
Ladies and gentlemen, as most are aware, the Legacy of Norrath free EverQuest 1 emulated progression server has sadly come to an abrupt end. My name is Fipper. Tonight we have an extra special series finale with 3 hand-picked karaoke tracks to augment this goodbye to the LON server. We will take a look at how this server's meltdown occurred and take a quick look back at a memorable experience of mine from the early days that, quite frankly, well, it got weird, but more on that later. Don't worry about shedding no tears. We're gonna RIP this straight underground with a Discotheque Extravaganza. So, how'd it happen? Legacy of Norrath server meltdown. It actually occurred during our last karaoke special, the retirement gala in honor of the server's top druid and Radian Fire Marshal Captain, the retirement of the player character named Leaves.
Your example of hard work and dedication, and we'll do our best to not destroy the guild and the server once you leave it in our hands. We don't need no devs, let the server rack burn. Just playing.
Those jokes I made last episode may have been in bad taste, but I don't think any of us saw it ending quite as quickly or the way it did, honestly. So the server development team actually contracted me in as a consultant and flew me out to the server site to conduct a full investigation of the root cause of the server's meltdown. I just now, after 84 hours straight, concluded that investigation, and I can now definitively say that it is way past my bedtime. I mean, no, but I do have the full report prepared right here. This is actually classified. In fact, this information is so secret, I can't even tell you the level of security clearance required for authorization to read or access this report. However, it's mostly garbage technical jargon wrapped up in all sorts of bureaucratic red tape, so consider yourself lucky. What I did get clearance to explain was the simple and immediate conditions inside the server leading to the meltdown, which I will break to the world in the first public statement on this fiasco. Before I do, I know most of the former LON community is pretty tech savvy, but just in case we have guests tuning in for the sake of high-class karaoke, allow me to explain what a server is, because I know I had several comments, feedback from Leaves' retirement episode along the lines of, I have no idea what you're talking about, Fip. No sweat, I got you covered. In computing, a server is a computer program or device that provides functionality for other programs or devices called clients. So when we would play together on the LON server, each of us would be running the EverQuest game client software from our personal computers, and we would all be connecting to this one computer that would be running the back-end EverQuest server program. This machine would act as a central hub, coordinating all of our interactions within the game world, while also managing the database. This machine is the server we are talking about. To play this game, you must connect to the server over the internet with the EverQuest game client and create a player character. That character, the equipment, currency, experience, spells, and skills would all be saved on this server's database. Players' characters are just a small portion of what is managed and stored on the database. These databases can get quite large and cumbersome quickly and usually span across several hard drives. Each hard drive has several non-removable discs made of aluminum alloy or a mixture of glass and ceramic. To these actual physical hard disks is where the data is written to and read from. During those read and writes, those disks generally spin at 7,200 rotations per minute or 120 times per second, which is really dependent on the drive model, but I know it's hard to comprehend how fast that is to spin, but just trust me, do not try spinning that fast yourself. You will get dizzy. So now that everyone is up to speed, not spinning, just knowing what I'm talking about, the disks of the hard drives containing the legacy of Norrath database began to spin with such incredible rotational speed that the disks in each of the server's drives began to burn. Without anyone being aware, flames broke out and quickly engulfed the entire server, then the surrounding equipment. Before anyone was aware of that disaster and the impending danger, the server room's automated fire suppression system was thankfully able to neutralize the quickly escalating blaze before the wildfire claimed the whole facility, and luckily before anyone was hurt. Service technicians describe this type of fire event started from the simultaneous overheating of hard disks with a specific industry term. This event is known as a Disk Go Inferno. Servers can be especially dangerous since they are often used remotely by clients over the internet, and no one may be nearby monitoring them directly. For home users though, there is a very specific sound that these hard disks make when they begin to go beyond their manufacturer's designated rotations per minute and enter the danger zone. I will play an audio sample of that now, because being able to quickly identify and neutralize an imminent Disk Go Inferno scenario can save lives, not to mention your computer's hardware and data, so pay attention. Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. To my surprise, listen, 100 stories high. Yeah, people getting loose, y'all. They're getting down on the roof, do you hear? The floor was a-flaming, out of control. It was so entertaining. When the boogie started to explode, I heard somebody say, Disco Inferno, burn that server down. Disco Inferno, yeah, burn that server down. Satisfaction came in a chain reaction. I couldn't get enough till I had to self-destruct. The heat was on, rising to the top. Everybody going strong. That is when my spark got hot. I heard somebody say, Disco Inferno, burn that server down, y'all. Yeah, Disco Inferno, burn that server down. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Oh, that makes me know there's a party somewhere. Yeah, satisfaction, yeah, came in a chain reaction. Do you hear? I couldn't get enough, so I had to self-destruct. The heat was on, rising to the top. Everybody going strong. That is when my spark got hot. I heard somebody say, Disco Inferno, burn that sucker down. Yeah, Disco Inferno, burn that sucker down. Oh, legacy of Norrath, burn that sucker down. Yeah, Disco Inferno, burn that server down. We are gathered here today to celebrate the life of Legacy of Norrath and to say goodbye to a wonderful, unique playing experience during the past 6 months it was live. I personally missed the last 3 months of which, but I put my time in. My character was Fipper, the half-elf bard with natural selection, formerly known as Tempest. Although we say goodbye to the server and its community as a whole, the relationships formed here absolutely can survive with just a bit of effort. And as long as I've got my bros, I know I'll be alive. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. I kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent oh so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. So now you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your keys. If I had known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Oh, weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live, I've got all my love to give. I'll survive, I will survive. Hey, hey. It took all the strength I had not to fall apart. Kept trying hard to mend the pieces of my broken heart. And I spent oh so many nights feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high. And you see me, somebody new. I'm not that tender little person still in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. But now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. And I've got all my life to live, I've got all my love to give. And I'll survive, I will survive. Oh. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live, I've got all my love to give. And I'll survive, I will survive, I will survive. I reviewed screenshots from the first week of the server, and I have a little story about my playing experiences. My first journey to meet a player named Pastor in a different city to buy armor, and how it got weird. Pastor is known for staying up past his bedtime. But you know, I didn't want to get caught up in any of that funky stuff going down in the city. So I started a half-elf bard, and let me tell you what, those 1 through 8 were slow. I mean, so slow. But I actually rolled a mage box to help me during those early levels. So I named that human female mage Fizzarella, because on the server I had been previously playing on and left, my main bro was playing 2 characters. One was Isarella, and the other one was Munchkin, the player I'm sure many of you know from Reborn. Anyway, I rolled deep into the sewers and down in between the Kinos catacombs and the aqueducts. I found a nice little spot that I had on lockdown for those first few days. Hubert's home, if you're familiar. And this one day I ran into this lost necro named Cooney, who had this glowing black stone, and I could not believe it. I mean, that is not a common item, and to have it so early into the start of the server, I was impressed. Anyway, I helped him find his way back over to the Necro Guild, and that's about when I realized I was ready to move on. The server wasn't overwhelmingly populated like the live servers I remember in '99, but there was global chat, so it was very easy to communicate. And this one bro put in the auction channel that he was making and selling banded armor, and I was like, bingo. So I journeyed out to meet him in the city of Halflings, Rivervale. There I commissioned a full suit of medium banded armor, which was not easy, but he was able to finally complete it with a few extra attempts, and it made a huge difference for my barding. So here's where it got weird though. We were just doing our thing, you know, him a human paladin working the forge, smithing me some armor, and a couple of player characters, you know, little halflings running around town, and this forge is the one over by the Druid Guild, by the tiny farm. But before I knew it, Pastor, this human, transformed in front of my eyes and became a huge gingerbread man. You should have seen his face. So much joy and glee in the expressions of that monster's smile, illustrated by the sweet sugar-colored frosting. You know, at first I just made sure I was able to identify, you know, where I was and who I was, because for a second, just a second there, I thought I may have actually stayed up a little too long past my bedtime. But then the admin Reddith revealed himself, and it was a fun trivia experience for the 4 or 5 of us hanging around. How silly and weird Reddith could make things without any permanent changes to our characters was absolutely classic, and everything was cool and went back to normal. This last disco track is dedicated to Reddith and Pastor for that memorable experience. Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me. Town to keep me moving, keep me grooving with some energy. Well, I talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about moving. Gotta move on. Gotta move on. Gotta move on. Won't you take me to Funkytown? Won't you take me to Funkytown? Won't you take me to Funkytown. Won't you take me to Funkytown? Town, won't you take me to Funkytown? Won't you take me to Funkytown? Won't you take me to Funkytown? Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me. Down to keep me moving, keep me grooving with some energy. Well, I talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about moving. Gotta move on. Gotta move on. Gotta move on. Funkytown. 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 Won't you take me down to Funkytown? 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 I want to thank Maze, all staff members, including Secrets, Reddith, Doofus, and Plastic. And sorry if I forgot to name anyone. Another thank you to everyone who has contributed to the server while it was live. Got to move on. Members of the Guild Pals is looking forward to the server that is currently under development named Mangler. This project, the Mangler, is an EQ1 emulated progression server that is being led by developer Rekka and has been described by Pals leadership as practically a dupe of Ragefire without the focus effects. To date, this will be the most classic progression server to be released. So do your sit-ups, do your push-ups, because I only have one question for you. Is your body ready? Okay, I did the rock thing. Can I get my check, please? I'm probably going to need it to lawyer up. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. So, got to move on. So, some of the heads we knew from Natural Selection have been playing around another server called Ultimate EQ. It's described as progression with a capital P, and that stands for pool. Gives you the chance to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to roll out like a raid on wheels and revisit all those old bosses you never got to do because the local Uber Guild had them all on farm. Sorry, I'm not sure where those extra lines came from, but I got the picture. You got the picture. So anyway, got to move on. Anyway, it's way past my bedtime. I'm Fipper. Thanks for joining me for this very special Discotheque Extravaganza, and goodbye to the Legacy of Norrath EverQuest 1 emulated progression server. It is the end of an era, and to this series of karaoke. Got to move on. Catch you next week. Catch you next time. I'm not sure When or where that will be from, but yo, I'll let you bard.